Hello, and welcome to another video in this series, maybe the final. This one will be a bit all over, so I apologize in advance as there are quite a lot of quality of life that can improve the game PvP-wise. Getting into it, Revamp to Valor. More stat trackers. Valor is now a legacy-wide thing. That would be amazing. This allows for a new reward for PvPers along with a reward track to grind, giving us ability to buy old gear, cosmetics, and other things for having Valor, or even a Valor currency on top of that. That would be really cool and would add another infinitely repeatable activity to a activity that's already infinitely repeatable. It'd really play on each other, and I think people would really enjoy it. Then a resource bar on nameplate. This would be between resolve and under health. I want this specifically for UI off gameplay or a minimalistic gameplay. Not having this definitely makes it harder to pull off. Then ability proc sounds. They're still in game, and it would be awesome if most of them were reworked to be updated for more important procs with a toggle to turn them on or off. This would finalize my ability to play without UI to a great extent. I would still definitely want to know my defensive cooldowns and buff and debuff tracker, but this alone would make some incredibly minimalistic UI for PvP. Ability proc sounds have always been incredibly important for high-end content like raiding and PvP, where playing your class to its fullest extent is important. I would hate to see that these things just get continued to be sort of abandoned. While maybe not a huge priority for PvP Revamp, it would be generally nice and is mainly PvP related. Then pings, but not actual pings, the ability to display info quickly to others. For example, more than just markers, maybe something that we can drop down on the floor like role markers and operations, though we'd very much so need a rate limit to use them to prevent trolling. This would allow for more quick communication and generally a more competitive PvP, even if it's only benefiting non-com groups. This specifically would make solo ranked way more competitive than it is currently. The markers that would be ideal: a move here marker, a CC/follow CC marker, no CC breaker marker, a danger marker, and a target marker. While we have markers already for overhead, these sort of things have more unique uses, as while head markers show priority and often aren't always agreed upon. A target marker could indicate swap to this person while someone else is missing, or that they made a mistake that can be capitalized on, while maybe not becoming a priority. A danger marker could indicate bad spots to fight, for example, being knocked or in a tight room, trap for a cleave spec to pop off, or generally a bad position for line of sight. No CC breaker marker would indicate whether self or target doesn't have their CC breaker. This is important information that allows CC to have a greater effect on them, along with potentially making them a bigger target. CC/follow CC marker lets people know someone needs to be CC'd. Oftentimes things do get overlapped or just end up not getting used, and it's definitely a communication issue. Then a move here marker could be a multi-use marker for whatever it is needed, whether it's a bad spot, or you want to turtle in this spot, or typically a power position. While it doesn't need to stand for move here, it'd be good to have a multi-use marker for such. For abuse prevention, make these last 6 seconds, and with players having a 20-second cooldown on each of them. It should obviously be off the global cooldown. If it's on the global cooldown, it's kind of not so useful. Then a map selector, not what you guys are probably thinking, but rather a similar selector to Guild Wars 2. I think they do it well, and I see zero reason to not apply it here. This allows for people to select their favorite map of 3 or 4. Then everyone in queue votes for what they want. Then there's a pie chart rule, and obviously the one with the most votes has the highest odds. But it's completely possible for the lowest chance one to actually pop. I think this is not only the most fair way of doing it, but also allows players to play mostly what they want without making a dedicated system to just queuing specifically for what you want. While this one may not seem like much of a quality of life, but for the quality of PvPers' lives, please, we beg you, redesign OPG slightly, which is the Destined Proving Grounds. It's a massive map without any direction in it, making oftentimes the most peaceful and most desolate map ever. A quick and easy way to do so is removing the northern node and everything to it. This removes knockback cheesing, as generally it's only so funny, and it causes you to die twice. Then make the middle node spawn at the start of the game always. This puts everyone in mid with a reason. This allows both teams to gauge each other. Next node to spawn should be random. This immediately adds direction to a confusion fest of a map. Along with more combat and less peaceful times, like eating your meal while guarding one node for an entire game on stream, cough cough, that I am guilty of. It's a peaceful, it's that peaceful of a map sometimes. That's not how PvP should be. Even in PvE, you have to actually kill things. I mentioned it before, and I will mention it here again. I think it's truly needed. Quality of life, mercy rule. Other games have it. This game has it. It's just not able to really ever go into effect anymore. It's a massive. If a massive lead is created, please let the match end earlier. Don't make people suffer. It's not a fun or a good experience. This definitely puts people off competitively from PvP. Or not competitively, but completely from PvP. Sometimes matchmaking won't be able to balance every match, and a mercy rule should be there to help deal with the situation. Ultimately, a mercy rule would help players not be as frustrated with bad matchmaking, as it's pretty much inevitable. No real, I guess, fix can be truly found, as population is sometimes an issue. Then a lockout for regular war zones. Please consider lowering it. Some people actually do disconnect, while players definitely still abuse the 15-minute timer to get out of matches they really don't want to play. If a mercy rule is applied, the lockout should be reasonably adjusted. Then going into challenge modes, a rather unutilized addition which is great, don't get me wrong, but the requirements to get into said challenges modes are a bit high for content creation and tutorial purposes. Having the ability to jump into these war zones to get comfortable with them, whether it's for content creation or just familiarizing yourself with the map, it should be possible. Currently, it's 2 groups of 2 to even get into one of these. Then remove bolster completely for level 80 PvP. It serves no purpose, but is more often than not used to abuse. Currently, one of the best loadouts now is abusing the Matrix Cube with 340 gear. That gives them 30k more health on average, along with quite a lot of stats. Matrix Cube is giving way more stats than it's supposed to with the bolster specifically. This becomes a lot less applicable if bolster is gone. Sadly, this doesn't fix it completely, and goes into my next suggestion. Add expertise back. Why? Well, this prevents gear score min-maxing, which is currently a problem and will forever be. The reason we had expertise in the first place was to allow PvE to still get a power creep by gear score upgrades, but PvP remained the same. We either need expertise to prevent gear score min-maxing or remove the cap completely for PvP. The idea would be to add expertise to everything that's the current PvP gear score cap and under. This allows new players to not only get completely stomped for having basically no expertise, or gets rid of the issue, which would be basically a real problem. This means that somebody could just immediately start with 320 gear or 316 or whatever, starting at probably 316, make the first set of 316 probably free. If you do the tutorial quests for PvP, that would be very helpful for new players. Not having a bolster for augments is also a big issue right now. Definitely should be maybe a starter set of augments for quests. I know that will mess with the economy, but the economy is really bad right now, so it's definitely something that should be thought about. Then camera in PvP and objects that create collision causing line of sight when playing top down. This is a very weird topic to bring up, but if line of sight could be based on your character instead of where your camera is, that would be great. Also, with a saved version of what zoom you were at when panning goes into effect. It'll zoom back out to your original zoom. It will also never zoom out further. For instance, SWTOR sometimes likes to randomly max zoom itself at the start. This is a jarring camera system, and it's made truly worse when your mouse wheel doesn't work correctly, like mine. I think it would be pretty easy to fix this. Then lastly, a range indicator for phase walk and hololocate. It sort of does help that it glows when it's available, but sometimes it takes a little to update correctly. Not sure why, but if possible, a range indicator would do wonders, along with the ability to not waste it when randomly hindered by things like land/gore. It's hard to tell when something like that is coming, and obviously you do not wish to reset your phase, so it seems silly that it works that way. If you guys have any suggestions for quality of life regarding to PvP, I do have plenty more of these, but feel free to comment them down below. The purpose of these series, again, is to create feedback and help think of suggestions for 7.2 PvP Revamp. They definitely listen to numbers, and they'll be asking for us, so we definitely need to say something, and this is pretty much the conclusion to the series. I don't think I really have too much more to add. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for listening.